Welcome back to Kimberly's Coins. Today we have a $25 box of pennies, and we're going to open this up. And the first thing we want to do is check to make sure that the pennies in this box are circulated. And as you can see, they are circulated. Look for any interesting enders. No interesting enders right now. So we'll be back to show you our finds in this box. We're back with all of our 2009 D finds in this box. We have 14 of these coins. First, we have 2 of the early years, the top of which is in a wonderful shape. Then we have the early years. We have 7 of those. The last one is not in very good shape. Then we have the young professional years. We have 4 of those. And that is the last of them. They go from best to worst. And then we have 1 presidential year coin, which is not in the greatest of shape. Next, we'll continue with more finds. We have 2 Canadian pennies here, and the first is a 1976. There's the obverse. There we go. And the reverse. And the other one I found is in such great shape that I really don't want to touch it very much. And as you can see, this is a 2009. And those will be added to my Canadian penny collection, which is slowly growing. Next, we found 10 wheat pennies in this box, and our earliest one is a 1918. It's pretty worn, and I believe that is a D, but let me check that closer. No, there's no mint mark, so it's a Philadelphia. And we found this beautiful 1939 S. It's got a great red color. It's in decent shape too. We have a 39 Philadelphia. A 1944 S. Followed by a very dark 1945 S. Some interesting toning on that coin. Then we have a 53D. Another red colored penny. This is a 1955D. a 1956 D, fairly common dates, 1957 D, and we got an amazing find with this beautiful condition, 1958. That's a D. It is so nice, I decided to put it in a coin capsule rather than risk touching it or putting it in my book since I already have one. We'll continue with more coins in just a moment. There were 5 S coins that we found in this box. The first one being a 1971 S, followed by a 1969 S, a 71 S, $1974S. Very nice shape. And the star of the S show is this 1972S. It's in really nice condition, except for a little bit of dirt or spotting on the bottom on the reverse. We'll be right back with the rest of our major finds in just a few minutes. Hang on. Here comes our parade of 20 error coins. We'll start out with these two. They're 2 of the more interesting finds. We found this 1970. And on the reverse, there is no signature right there. This is the first one of these I have ever found. And while not in the very best of shape, it's a great find. Next, we found this 1981 D. And as you can see, the thing that makes this coin really interesting is the wood grain. I'll move that back and forth for you so you can see the wood graining. Reverse. Here are some extra pennies. First is a 1970 D, and as you can see, it has interesting toning, but right here we have an extra chunk of metal, which is diagonal, plus this blob, and I thought that was a pretty interesting error coin. Next, we have a 1999 D, and I'm going to hold this up to the light because, as you can see, there's a line that starts here under Liberty and goes all the way across the coin and ends at about the D. And I think we have a nice die crack error there. We have a 1968 S. As you can see on the left, this says Liberty, but the bottom of the L is clearly missing. found this 1980 D penny, and this is an odd one because the D is way under the 9 and yet still between the 9 and the 8 in 1980. It's also slightly off center. Here we have a 1988 D with a very strange texture to the obverse of the coin. As you can see, it's also on the reverse. And I thought it was strange enough to put it in the error coins. Next we have a penny with some interesting toning, but what caught my eye are these strange diagonal horizontal lines on this penny, which you can clearly see. It's a 1977, slightly off center, and there seems to be a die error around the lower left rim there, as you can see. And the reverse also has nice toning on it. Another odd one for the books. Next is a 1991 D, and it's slightly off center. And it does have some interesting toning. Our next penny features an error, and as you can see, there is a cud right there, 1992D. And on the reverse, as you can see, it says United States of America, but the of is incredibly lightly impressed. Whoops. Pardon me, that one slipped right out of my hands. Here we have a 1970 D, and as you can see, the D is between the 9 and the 7 in 1970. It's also slightly off center, but I thought that mint mark was a very interesting error. This is the first 2016 I have found an error on. It's a D for Denver, and I'm going to try and get this nice and close because on the 0 there is an extra amount of metal toward the top. There you can see it fairly well, which is definitely not normal. It makes it look as though there were a spot in the 0 of the 2016. For our final error coin, we have a 1979 D over S. I'll try to get that as close as I can for you and as clear as I can for you. Unfortunately, I don't have a scope, but when I used my eyepiece, it's clearly visible. And you can definitely tell it's a doubled mint mark. That concludes all the finds from my fantastic box of pennies. We also found a great number of coins that looked like they were newly minted, and I've already added those to my book. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share if you like, comment on any of the coins, and I appreciate your taking the time to watch this video. Thank you very much. Bye now.